Germany's never-ending search for something bigger and better gave us examples such as the Maus, but nothing would compare to the super Heavy Gustav railway guns. Like the Paris gun of World War I, they were truly enormous. 47.3 metres long, 7.1 metres wide, weighing almost 1,500 short tons. They were capable of firing an 800mm wide shell to a distance of up to 30 miles, out of a 107-foot long barrel with a maximum elevation of 48 degrees. Two were produced, named Schwerer Gustav, in English Heavy Gustav, and Dora. They were both produced by Krupp, the German arms manufacturer, with Heavy Gustav being finished in 1941. They were designed in the 1930s to deal with the heaviest of fortifications, namely the French Maginot Line, the 280-mile-long armoured belt that was supposed to be impervious to most forms of attack. It would never perform this task due to delays. More on this later. Hitler approved the production of the Super Heavy in 1937, at a cost of almost 10 million Reichsmarks, nearly $70 million in today's money. The guns were transported piecemeal by rail, and would take 1,250 men 3 days to assemble it. A crew of 250 were required to fire it. In theory, it could fire one shell every 30 to 45 minutes. Its one and only use, discounting the 250 test shots to showcase it to Hitler, was at the Siege of Sevastopol on the Crimean Peninsula. It was to destroy the Russian heavy forts protecting it. A suitable site was located within firing range of the city, and the gun was transported there in 25 railway carriages that reached almost a mile in length. 3,800 men would spend 4 weeks preparing the location, including carving a tunnel to protect the gun whilst not in use, and constructing the twin-track railway it required for its specially designed chassis. These tracks would be semicircular to enable it to traverse. It would also require special locomotives and cranes to be used. A total of 48 shots were fired on Sevastopol. These were a mixture of the 4.8-ton high explosive rounds and the 7.1-ton armour-piercing type. Due to the sheer size of the projectiles, they would cause severe wear to the barrels. To overcome this, the shells would be numbered to fire in a sequence, each shell being slightly larger than the last. This was to ensure accuracy was maintained. The life expectancy was approximately 300 rounds before it would need relining. To give a comparison to its size, the largest naval guns fielded in World War II were on the Japanese battleships Yamato and Musashi. They were just over half the size at 46 centimetres. After the siege, the Germans intended on using it to lay waste to Leningrad, but this never came to fruition after their proposed staging area came under threat. It would never see use again, and neither examples exist today. Both were blown up to prevent their study or use in the future. The very first railway gun used in combat was during the American Civil War in 1862. A naval cannon was mounted to a cart and used against the Union during the Battle of Savage's Station. Neither Gustav nor Dora hold the record for the largest designed artillery piece. This goes to a French monster mortar at 975mm. But they do hold the record for the largest to be used in warfare. But were they really worth it? Only taking into account the initial money given to Krupp to design it, Germany could have almost built 90 late war Panzer IVs or 120 Stug 3s. When you factor in the labour cost and cost of ammunition and logistics, this figure may rise quite significantly. Still not enough to have won the war, but possibly enough to turn the tide of a battle. In reality, they were too big and sapped too many resources, despite being a devastating weapon.